What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Activ8 Radio. And we are here to activate your mind while we entertain and educate. And guess what? Today is a special one because we're on video now and I can see Fosco rocking his Jimmy Buckets t-shirt in Chicago.
Dude.
What's up, Fosco?
Dude, you remember the Ultimate Warrior? When he used to get like the fucking energy from the clouds? I feel like the Ultimate Warrior. Let's go, Cory. It's Monday, baby. We're on video.
So we're trying a new system. We got the eCam. We're going ahead and putting videos so we can blow up this YouTube, and we'll pull down the audio too. And we're just going to keep working on it. So if we have a few bugs,
our game. Did we promise everybody we'd up our game?
We did. We did.
Yeah, we did.
And we will figure it out. So we're going to keep working on it. But it's exciting to see you today, John, all the way in Chicago.
Good to see you, brother.
And so we want to start off with some basketball, John. I know we talked about Buddy Hield.
Man.
But my homeboy got shut down.
Buddy Hield got the business. I think Buddy Hield turned the ball over either the same amount or more than points he scored. Okay?
It was bad.
You want to talk about taking one story, the guy who's stealing the show in the NCAA tournament, and turning it on its ass. I mean, Villanova won by, I think, 50, and they shut the most dominant player down, and they embarrassed him, Cory.
It was pretty bad. So I got my son. I was like, hey, we got to watch this Buddy Hield guy. Fosco talked about him on the last podcast. I was like, we got to watch him. And then he was like, scored 9 in the first half. And I was like, and they're losing by what? Like 30.
Who, Buddy? Buddy scored 6 in the whole game.
Oh, was it 6? Oh, I thought it was 9.
The whole game.
So I must have had the digit turned the wrong way.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, but he was averaging 25. They were putting up graphics of like these legends that he was with.
Dude, I think he scored 37 in the previous tournament game, and he was just a guy who everyone looked at as like, well, you can't stop him, so how are we going to stop the rest of the team? And Villanova literally, you know, you got to love Philly, man. They're grimy out there. They took it to him hardcore style, and they beat the shit out of him.
It was, well, both games were actually kind of like that. And that wasn't as bad in the Q's game, but I mean, I don't know if I've seen 2 games they've won by combined almost like 80 points.
You know what, man? It's going to be a high energy national championship, and I think that's all we can ask for because those are some scrappy teams, and that's what I love about college basketball versus the NBA. Right? You have guys who play defense so hard because they want it so bad, and it just ups the level of entertainment, I believe.
So, what's your prediction tonight, John?
Villanova.
Yeah.
Villanova, and I forget that little kid's name. He's a white dude. He'll never make it to the NBA, but he's like, call him a poor man's Bobby Hurley.
Yeah.
He defines what it means to make the most of his opportunity at Villanova. And everyone's got to watch this kid tomorrow night. He is a scrappy dude who's always bleeding, diving for balls. And he's a big part of why Villanova, I believe, is going to win. So that's what's great about college ball.
I love watching Carolina Blue, but I got to say, after watching Villanova just dismantle a good Oklahoma team, I don't see how they're going to be denied either. No. So I'm going to agree with you on this one, John. I'm going to agree with you on this one.
Yeah, buddy.
So I want to swing back to the Masters, man. We spoke about it last week. I know you saw a really good piece on our boy Bubba Watson. So you want to talk about that, and I think that'll kind of roll us into some real good dialogue.
Yeah, I mean, Bubba Watson is, I think he's number 4 ranked player in the world, obviously going into the Masters this coming weekend. But I guess beyond golf, watching him talk, it was interesting because he went from like the it guy in golf to in 2013, he was teeing off on a par 3. His caddy, who's a very good friend of his, told him to use the wrong club, and he went in the water. And the camera caught him being very harsh on the caddy. And ever since that moment, the golf community has kind of pushed him away. And what he talked about that I would like to talk about with everybody and you, and I'd like to swirl ideas on this is why it's not important to be liked, right?
Yeah.
Like being liked is a luxury, but if you're not liked, you can't control that,
Yeah.
right? So what do you do about it? Cory, in your mind, if people don't like you, you want them to, but people just don't like you. What do you do about it?
So I've had, on many occasions, prior to the Muscle Farm days, which that turned it up a whole nother level, but where there was just a couple guys that no matter how nice I was to them, no matter how they just didn't like me. No question, like, and got into some altercations with them over time, and I could just, we just didn't mesh, right? And eventually I had to just quit trying because it didn't matter. That's on a small, that's literally like I worked at this tennis club and I almost went to blows with this guy multiple times. Like no matter what, I don't rubbed him the wrong way. He didn't like how cocky I was or something. We just didn't mesh, right? Now, fast forward, there was people that used to say things about me that didn't know me because of being in the Wall Street kind of stuff. And that, however, took a few years for me to kind of get used to it because everything I've always did was helping people. So it was always so positive, personal training and teaching, all these things. And so like everybody always liked me. Well, I never really ran into where there's people just writing stuff on internet forums about me that don't even know me. And so that was one thing that took me a little bit to get used to. But then once I kind of just was like, look, it's not like something I can control and I can't let it affect my life or the way, I mean, I would get like upset about it. I'm like, these people don't care about me really. They're just bored for 1 second, so they're writing some bullshit because their stock went down or up. You know what I mean? Like, so I started to get to the point where I never really cared what people thought about from a style standpoint or what I said. But like, if I was around you and actually like trying to like be nice to you and you just still didn't like me, that used to bug me. But other than that, I got used to it. And as I got on a bigger profile, I really just started not caring, to be honest.
You know what's interesting, Cory, is, a lot of people say, and a lot of, great business minds talk about if people aren't hating on you, that's when you're not relevant anymore.
Yeah, agreed.
So all those people who have haters, think about it like this, right? They're spending their time and their energy thinking, talking, conversing about you.
Yeah.
And you don't really know they exist.
At all.
So at the end of the day, it's like, well, they're talking about you. And they're talking about people who have success or perceived success because they're jealous.
Yeah.
And the way to respond, I believe, is pretend like it doesn't exist. And if you come face to face with them, you know what, man? No one ever got hurt killing people with kindness.
No, agreed.
It's just like you cannot give it your energy because in this life, people are going to misunderstand you. People are going to take you the wrong way. People are going to think the wrong things. And we can do whatever we want, okay? Most people struggle with this when it comes to a parent, a mother, a father, a brother. Why? Why can't they love me? Why can't they like me? Listen, man, do what's right, respect people, care for people, but after that,
you can't control it.
You can't control it.
No.
So you got to do your thing. And I'll tell you what, in business, man, the more haters you have, the better you're doing.
Oh, there's no question.
Boom, boom.
And athletes too. I mean, I think that's one of the things that I started getting used to. I was like, look, it's a percentage game. Way more people just know about me now. So you're going to get a percentage that are just haters. And that's what it is. And I've learned that even if I did know who you was, there's no way I'm giving you the satisfaction to even recognize you.
Well, yeah, it's like, I don't know your name, bro. Like,
correct.
You say it, it's fun because you talk about athletes, right? Our good friend and partner Travis Brown went through a very high profile accusation that he was a domestic abuser. Okay, obviously he was cleared. His name was cleared. Big investigation, but I watched him struggle to see not hundreds but thousands of people gang up on this man because he was large, he was intimidating, he was strong, and his accuser was this very good looking woman. And at the end of the day, where we came together, and it was a fight. It was a fight to come together on this. But it's like, Travis, these people are attacking you because they want what you have. It's not personal. Yeah. It's really not personal. As personal as it feels, it's about that person and that person only. So if you remove yourself from it, it only exists if you pay attention to it.
Yeah.
Do not pay attention to it.
Can't give it any.
Out.
You can't give it any. Like, you can't pay it no attention. You can't give it any power. That's what it comes down to.
Exactly.
You know, people used to ask me all the time, well, don't you know what this guy does and what this guy said? I'd be like, I don't even know who you're talking about. Even if I did know.
Man, like I my whole life, like starting in high school, I switched high schools when I was a freshman, and I walked into a high school and everyone looked at me like, what's up? From that day on, you know, I've always kind of embraced not being liked. And to this day, my personality, if you don't know me, is one where for some reason, most people just don't like me. And I use it to motivate me. Because when you're talking smack about me, it's like, okay, dude, all right, we'll see what's up. Check on me in 6 months, see where I'm at. So, you know, it's like everyone can use it for their own thing, but don't react, right? That's the trick, Cory.
Don't react.
Don't react. Don't give them power. Because when you react to people, you're giving them power.
Somebody's going to write a comment on YouTube when they watch this video about you wearing a medium t-shirt right now.
First off, Peaks! 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 Yeah! Damn it!
I had to throw that out there. So don't react, Fosco, when they write.
Hey, Cory, don't be a hater. Don't be a hater.
All right. So, John, I do want to talk about, obviously we're doing this video. We're going to start taping the podcast. We got daily videos going on Activ8 Media on the YouTube channel. You got to go subscribe right now, Activ8 Media. Talk about what Activ8 Daily is, what we're piloting right now for the next year.
Absolutely. So first off, if you guys haven't already joined our YouTube channel, you have to go subscribe. You have to subscribe now, because not only are the podcasts that we're all a part of, that Familia is a part of, are going to be on our YouTube channel, but we're going to be adding programming almost weekly. And like Cory brought up, we have a great new little segment that's going to be coming out every day. One video at a minimum. That's called Activ8 Daily, and it's a message from Cory. It's a message from me, and it's basically little tips that you can wake up and say, okay, motherfucker, let's go attack this day. That's what we want to do for you guys. Every single day, we are going to be there for you when you need that little push. Because damn, I know I need a push when I wake up. We're going to be there. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's Activ8 Media. And beyond Activ8 Daily, we're going to have the Activ8 Take, right, which is going to be covering current events and our take on it. We're going to be bringing you Activ8 Fire, which is a secret.
Yeah.
It's going to be fire.
Yep.
And then we're going to bring you Activ8 Life. So the family, man, you guys have brought us to this point where we are upping our game. We told you the whole time. We told you the game is being upped.
Absolutely.
We're upping it, Cory, aren't we?
Well, that's the thing too. Like, we're upping it, and I enjoy the content. Like, I was telling you, John, earlier off air that I spoke at a sports performance conference this weekend, and just like, I would think it was about 60 coaches and athletes, and so there's some strength coaches from some D1 programs, and it was just like getting in front of these people. I'm speaking about something completely different. So like, everybody else was speaking about. They're mostly speaking to coaches, saying this is how you run the room. This is, you know, the difference between this exercise and that exercise. This is programming. And then you get me. I'm up here talking about marketing, mindset, you know, that whole thing with the mindset manual and just like your life strategy, you know, having vision. And it was just like so abstractly different, man. You could just see how locked in everybody was, right?
It's awesome.
And it just makes me want to do this even more, because we're both blessed what we've got to accomplish to this point. We want to accomplish so much more. And I just feel like the need to just give the information out, right? I can't get it out fast enough. And we even talked about doing some stuff on location soon too, which I think we need to definitely hone in on. And so I just know like we're doing what we're supposed to do. It just feels right.
Dude, it feels, and then, you look at our initiative, our Activator initiative. And for those of you who aren't aware of it yet, our Activator initiatives basically gives you guys the ability to join us in our journey to just kind of spread the word to help people.
Yep.
And anybody can join. And we want you to join us on this journey. And to do that real quick, I'm going to give you the email address. So grab a pen and write this down.
Yep.
It's Activ, the number 8R at Activ8media.com. And dude, we just started that. And we got a ton of emails the other day about all the events in the activators community that these great people, these activators that are buying into everything we're doing, they're already starting the events, man.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we're saying, go out to your community, let Activ8 support you, and let's go help people. I don't care if you talk to them. I don't care if you work out with them.
Yep.
I don't care if you go help kids. Let's activate the community. And in a week or two, Core, I mean, and kudos to you and kudos to what we're doing. Man, it's working.
Yeah.
And everything we're doing is working. And I don't want to be cocky, but I really believe that people don't have another place to go to get what the Familia is giving them, right? Yep. This is straight real. This is real shit. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to keep doing it.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. And I just, as I saw the comfort that I'm starting to get in front of the crowd, which I was never really scared to speak in public. Obviously, I do this kind of stuff all the time, but like the comfort and just like the delivery, it's intentional, it feels good, and it's like I can see that there's light bulbs being turned on, just like there is with the podcast. And so we just gotta, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to scale it to another level so we can reach more people, which I believe this will help a ton. I think also that the fact that they can see you, John, in a medium T-shirt in Chicago is very
large, baby.
Is very large. Key to the equation. I keep telling, I keep telling John that I think us being on camera together more is definitely helping. Obviously, you might be listening to this on audio too. But either way, look, here's the deal. We talk about real shit. We're trying to help. And we want to keep hearing from you guys too. So, on the comments here on YouTube, throw in some questions. On Instagram, throw in some questions. Reach out to us on Twitter. Like, we're going to keep infusing these things as this thing continues to grow. And the programming spreads out across the week too. So we'll find a way to fix it.
Cory, when you were just talking, if we didn't have the business Activ8 Media, I think this show would be called Two Real Motherfuckers.
Yeah.
So I think we just got a new hashtag, Two Real Motherfuckers. Because that's what we're coming with, and that's who we are. And that's why, people are joining us and we're joining people. And, dude, you guys are doing a great job sharing. Oh, boy. You guys are doing technical problem.
Hey, for you guys that are on audio, John just dropped his phone and then double bicep.
I'm back. No, yes. But it's you guys, man. It's you guys, and we're seeing that you're bringing your friends in. We're seeing that you're sharing it on social media, and our numbers keep going up. And we thank you so much.
Did you just bicep flex as you were keep going up? That's what I thought.
I didn't, brother. Saying genetics or something, you know what I'm saying? I'm clean, Cory. I'm clean.
I know. Hey, let's talk about UFC 200 coming up. I want to get because I was a part, and so were you, of UFC 100, where, that was the first time I ever had 10 guys on one card.
Right.
And I remember, like, plain as day, getting a call from the UFC where they're like, Dana walked in my office and said, who the fuck is Muscle Farm and why aren't they paying us? Because we had so much exposure on that card. So talk about the significance of 200. Talk about, obviously, our partner being involved. Is that public? Maybe not.
He's one of the main fights on the biggest card in UFC history. It's a supreme honor I know he views it as a supreme honor. It's a legacy for him. It's a
Yep.
it's a legacy play for his family, and ultimately he is fighting. I don't think many would argue the best heavyweight mixed martial artist of all time. So the significance for our boy Travis Brown
Yep.
is insane. And Travis is going to come out and he's going to win. He's got a lot more tools than Kane does. Kane is as tough as they come.
Yeah.
Kane ain't 6'7", and I'm biased, guys, so I'm
Yeah.
preaching about my boy. Okay?
That's your homie.
Yeah, that's my homie. That's your homie. That's
Yep.
our homie.
Yeah.
But beyond that, you got the rematch, which is just going to bring in crazy numbers of Conor versus Diaz.
Is it the biggest card ever?
Ever. It will do the biggest numbers ever, period. Jose Aldo is fighting Frankie Edgar. Enormous fight. And to me, that is a fight for Conor because the winner of that fight gets Conor, in my mind, they haven't announced it, when he comes back and he defends his belts at 145. So I think, and they haven't announced the rest of it, but there's like 7 fights on it. But the marketing money they put into it globally, combined with obviously having all the fights, it is the definition of where you should market in sports if you're a company that's looking to get some eyeballs, because UFC 200 is a global event.
Gotcha. I heard it worked.
I heard it worked too.
I mean, I just heard the UFC work. That would be the funniest shit I would answer from investors. How do you see the ROI on the UFC? And my answer would be, we've quadrupled in sales every year since inception. And the only other marketing initiative is social media, which is free.
Right.
And so we didn't do print advertising. We didn't do banner ads. We did UFC. And then I was there on Twitter, social media. And so I was like, that ROI to me makes the most sense when you're, you do like 4 million one year, and then the first quarter the next year you do 4 million. Then you do like 20 million, and then the first quarter the following year you do 20 million. I mean, it was like, come on, guys.
Cory, you know what they say? Numbers don't lie, baby.
Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. I mean, I understand how some industries could think like, am I really getting this type of exposure? But just like you said, when we were, here's a good story. Actually, I don't know if I even told you this story. I went on a trip with the UFC after the Rampage Rashad fight. They flew 80 of us down to Cabo to an amazing resort. And I was actually in a meeting with us, BSN, Bud Light. It was like 5 main sponsors of the UFC.
Sure.
And Lorenzo and Dana. There's like 12 people in the room. It looked like I was at a multi-level marketing meeting. And I'll never forget, because everybody was getting hammered. We're having fun. They bring up this literally PowerPoint presentation. And it has the octagon. And it has the world inside of it. And Dana's presentation was like, it was like 10 minutes long. He goes, look, you see the globe inside this octagon? You just follow us around the globe. Oh. And you will have business in every one of these countries because we will make sure of it. And he said, just believe me. And I did, dude. And we kept putting our money right into it, and literally we sold in 100 countries. And I guarantee most of that had to do with, I was in storefronts. I remember this in Colombia. Like, it was like me and Leota. Like, it was like, it's unbelievable, like, where we reached because of the UFC.
Well, of course, when you're in Colombia, there's a lot of nice looking women there too.
Yeah. Never visited, but I saw myself in stores. That was cool.
Yeah, actually, I had an incident where one of them came after me with a knife. But we'll talk about that another day.
That's another podcast.
Yeah, that's another podcast.
So if you are like, that's a good example. Let's say you are a big executive that ended up, or a big marketing person that's listening to us. What would you tell them in a minute if they're looking at the UFC, John? What would you say to them?
It's very simple. If you are looking at sports marketing and you're looking to get the coveted 18 to 34-year-old demographic, there is nothing that compares to the television reach of the UFC, and there's nothing that compares to it from a 50% comparison. You have NASCAR, which is the United States. You have the NFL, which is the king of kings. It's the United States.
True.
You have basketball. It's the United States and China.
China.
Okay. The UFC right now is available in over 1 billion homes, and they have 93 TV deals, and they get an average viewership of about 47 million people. And what I would tell that executive is this: you are not paying licensing fees in those other contents. You find me a sport that shows you in the United States, shows you in South America, shows you in Canada, and you do not have to pay licensing fees to be seen in those other countries, and I'll bring you a pony, okay? I'll bring you a pony because you ain't going to find one. And at the end of the day, the price, right? The price is absurd, okay? A billion people, okay? A billion homes.
Well, I remember having like where I would be on the mat as the sponsor, then have both guys sponsored with their butt patch, and they'd go in a 5-round war of 1 million pay-per-view buy that was shown in that.
I was there with you, brother.
That's what I'm saying, right, John? We did that on purpose. I had a commercial essentially for a half hour. Right. You couldn't miss it.
That's okay. So at the end of the day, when you buy a 30-second spot on Fox, when the UFC is on Fox, it's roughly $125,000 to $140,000 for 30 seconds.
Yep.
If you're on a fighter, you could spend a 20th of that and be on TV for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, and commercials do not get replayed.
Correct.
Fights get replayed all year.
Fight Pass, YouTube, social media.
And imagine if it's a good fight. Imagine if there's a knockout. I mean, the residual value is insane. And then all the websites. So that model is gone, but what's not gone is the UFC octagon, okay? There's a lot of real estate on the mat. There's a lot of real estate on the post, and we sell that, right? So if you're listening and you are like, I got a business that's on fire that I want to take global, or even I want to double down domestically, dude, take it in the UFC. We'll show you how, because together, and I don't want to be cocky, but together we were the most successful marketing program in UFC history.
Absolutely. No, there's no doubt. I mean, as Tap Out was kind of coming or getting away from it, we were walking into it. And I believe we were there at the best time possible, at least in the supplement space by far. There's no doubt. Because
not only the time, but the strategy. The strategy was impeccable.
Well, I would sit there. You know what's so funny is, John, it's similar to my social media strategy of care about people and actually talk to them. It's like I sat on my couch and thought, I'm staring at a lime green MP for a half hour on a 5-round match on Fox.
Right. Am I going to remember it?
Correct. And eventually, if I had 7 guys on the card, 3 guys on the card, like, you're going to Google search it eventually, like, what the fuck is Muscle Farm? You might even Google that exact thing.
But when you go to buy products, your brain is very bizarre. It associates familiarity with excellence and with quality. So it's like, I saw that. Okay, that's okay to buy.
Yep.
Marketing is a very subconscious thing, but once you understand it, you can really do a lot of good, and that's what Activ8 Media does, brother. That's why we're here, outside of helping people, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Well, what's cool is that we're able to kind of intermix them together, right?
Yeah, we're intermixing them, and the beauty of this is like an experiment in entrepreneurial behavior, because we're allowing our business to choose its own path. We're supporting it. But our business is taking on a life of its own. And we have confidence in ourselves and the people around us to follow it and to guide it and to make sure it doesn't get in trouble. So I think it's great because we're going to be visible on YouTube, and everything we do, for all you young entrepreneurs, business people, everything. It's like, you're going to see our mistakes. You're going to see our successes. And we don't know where this thing's going, but I guarantee you this, it's going up.
Absolutely. But it's that key, just like I spoke about when I was on stage this weekend, is waking up with that fire, though. Waking up on fire.
If you ain't got fire, go back to bed.
Yeah. And that's what I was explaining. I was like, look, when you sign up to be an entrepreneur, there's none of this. Click, clink, click, clink. There's no time in, time out. There's no clock in, clock out. It's like, you just know when you sign, you're signing the affidavit to like build, to be moving, to be busy. And if you're not,
game on, motherfuckers. That's what being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, that's exactly what it means. And if you ain't down for that, then
you're gonna get
you're gonna knock the fuck out, basically. I mean, so that's one thing that I've seen some like people in the crowd, like, you know, a lot of people like wish they started their own business. If you're that person that wishes they start their own business, you know, like there's gotta be a commitment that you gotta be willing.
Think about it like this. If you wish you started your own business, that in and of itself tells you you're not an entrepreneur. Because
Correct.
if you were an entrepreneur, you wouldn't be sitting there wishing. You
would have started it. Yeah. So because some people believe that it can be taught and others believe that it can't be taught. We talked about this a little bit last week. And I think there's a lot of people that are essentially on the fence, right? Because fear has pulled into them and they can't jump.
Absolutely.
And I saw something that Steve Harvey did the other day, which I thought was really cool. It was like at the end of Family Feud or whatever, but it was an outtake. And he's like, look, everybody has to jump to try to be great at some point if that's what you want for yourself. The parachute is not always there. Like you just got to be willing to jump.
Step up to the plate and know you're going to strike out.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna. But guess what? You're also going to get a single and a double and a triple and eventually hit a home run.
Well, like I always said, like I said in my book, was 3 out of 10 will get you in the Hall of Fame, John.
Exactly.
So you think about it like this: you got 340 hitters that are in the Hall of Fame in baseball.
Dude, 340 is insane.
Right? 320, 310. So like, if you're thinking you're prospecting 10 people to be in your business, 10 people to buy your product, 10 people to do this, that, and you're landing 3, you're a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely, brother.
So I think that's a good point, because people think like, well, when I hear no, I say next.
Yeah, I say, you're damn right, you say next. Or if it's that important, you say, oh, okay, thank you. And you go back the next day and you ask the question in a different format.
Yeah.
My ears don't accept no, and I know yours don't either.
No.
That's why we jive. Guys,
that's
no
a great point.
Exists only if you allow it to.
Yeah.
No only exists if you allow it to. Want to know what I say to no? Fuck you. No.
What I like, though, what you said is, I don't accept that. I end up asking in a different way, and it might just mean it's not the right time or day. And we've talked about this sometimes.
Or you communicate it correctly.
Correct.
Right?
Yep. Communicate it differently or you're not explaining it. Yeah, you're not explaining it properly. Because that's the thing is, if you have, like in our business, we know a business needs X amount of services. We got to relay that properly so they can get that. And if they don't get it, then we're probably not doing our job right. I mean,
exactly.
That's plain.
Diagnose, create, deliver. If we ain't diagnosing the problem correctly so they can understand it, putting it in terms that aren't filled with jargon, then we are doing our job incorrectly. Mm-hmm. We need to explain things so people understand them.
Sure. I had a guy, I was speaking, I actually did a Skype session to Akron University last week.
Cory, keep kicking it. I'm embarrassed to do this on a podcast, but my battery's low. I got to go get my charger.
Oh, hell
brother.
no.
I'm going to go connect. Sorry, familia. Hang on.
So you guys that are on audio, John just dipped off camera because his battery's low. I love it. Classic. His charger must have been downstairs and around the corner. Anyway, what I was saying was, I'll just talk to the wall. I was at Akron University, or I was doing Skype session from Akron University, and a guy asked me, he was like 20 years old, roughly 20 years old. He says, I'm thinking about starting a Shopify business, but I got to invest a little bit of money. And so we're back, as you just saw from the black screen that hopefully Jacob put in. John did not charge his cell phone, epically cut us off.
Guys, I'm human.
And if you're listening on audio, John said, hey, I got to go get my charger. The phone died. It kicked us off, but now we're back. And we're going to wrap this bad boy up with some questions and some thoughts.
Absolutely. Cory, I think, and I don't want to single out anybody because the family's great, but our boy K_Bagnera is a huge supporter of
He's on there. We see you. We see you, Bagnera.
We're going to kick off our questions with him. He says, what would you do if you found yourself in a business situation that you knew was not maximizing your full potential? Cory, Gregory from Ohio, kicking it on a few acres with a new pool.
Yeah. I would say that's very similar to the situation I just left, because it was utilizing my full potential, and then it was not going to be utilizing my full potential. So as soon as I saw it not going to utilize my full potential, my ideas, my thoughts, my direction, I lasted about 14 days. And it was time to do something else. So I would say if you're passionate about what you do, which I most definitely am, and I can't hide it. So whether it's this type of teaching, whether it's the fitness stuff that I'm doing, if there's a roadblock there, then I'm out. So I would find a way to do something different or change your situation. Somehow I would not just deal with it and be quiet.
Right. Listen, I think you got to do one thing before you move on, and that is, if you find yourself in that position, you talk to the powers that be, and you let them know how you feel. Like, listen, I'm not being utilized in the best way possible.
Yep.
Can we put me in this position, or can I do this, or can we do that? Sometimes you will be in situations where they will support you, and they will listen to you as long as you're making valid points, and they'll get you in a position where you belong. Most of the time they will not. When they don't, you need to believe in yourself.
Yep.
You need to be confident in what you do, and you need to move on to the next chapter of your life, guys. And this is one thing I love this phrase, and I think it applies to this if you do move on. One of the biggest tricks in life to master, and it's so important, is being at peace with the unknown, because life is all unknown. We don't know in 2 years. Be at peace with the unknown, because then you're not intimidated by what's next.
Yep.
So, Bagnera, thank you, brother. And Cory, we only have time for one more, so we're going to make it a good one. This is from Angelo Grippando. He's a paisan. Forget about it. So Angelo says, tips for handling when others take your ideas and pawn them off as their own in a business environment. Cory, how do you handle that? How would you handle that?
Listen, somebody's always going to be trying to rip you off, especially in a corporate environment, especially if you're creative, you have ideas, you're different. You got the special sauce, right? Like, I feel like I'm a guy that always has something going that people are like, well, shit, like, I wish I thought of that, right? So they're going to steal it. So what I would urge you is that, but sometimes this will happen, and I didn't do a lot of corporate stuff, but your boss will even steal it to his boss, right? It's going to happen. So I would just say, and you're good at this, John, pick your words wisely and listen intentionally, because if there's a high variability for your boss to steal something like that, wait to the optimal situation to bring it up when that other guy's already in the room or that other girl's already in the room. Like, have a strategy if you believe that is the ticket for your growth in that corporate environment. Don't just fucking throw it up all over everybody. Pick the time to say it. Makes sense?
Yeah, without a doubt. I think that's great advice. I think a great thing for everybody is, because me and Cory are so different, we a lot of times, and similar, we have different outlooks. And for me in this situation, 2 words come to my mind: beat him or beat her.
Yeah.
You have to beat them. So if it's your idea and they take it, you should know it better. You should understand it better. You should apply it better. You should execute it better. So you tell me, Angelo Grappando, or anybody else, why you shouldn't beat the living shit out of them in a corporate sense.
Yeah.
And that idea is brought to the forefront. And I look at it like this: every day you go to work, that's your day that you're fighting Cain Velasquez or John Jones.
Yeah.
It's a fight every day. And your fight is with the dude who took your idea. But guess what? It's your idea.
Yeah.
So whoop on that dude. Take him out and do it in a way where your bosses notice and know that he tried to do that without you saying it. Because then you just sit back and you say, #bossness.
Well, what'll happen is that boss, here's what I think. Real guys and gals will see through the bullshit eventually, I think. Because if I think like this dude done brought it to me, but why in the meetings he don't look like he knows shit about it, but this other kid is killing it, it doesn't take long to put 2 and 2 together. So I like your point though too, John, a lot. Because it's gonna like rise to the surface. There's no doubt. So I like it. That's good.
Right.
So Monday, look, we had our first video podcast remotely. John's phone died, which was awesome.
I'm wearing a double extra large t-shirt.
He's got
Cory's rolling with a small.
John's got the medium Jimmy Bucket shirt on. I think Jimmy had that one on when he was 8 years old. I mean, it's one of these things that these occurrences don't happen very often. So I hope you guys have a good Monday. John, you want to wrap us up?
Recovery. Yeah, guys. It's Monday, and like Angelo Grappando just asked us, he said, what do you do when someone does this in your environment? Everybody's going to work. Yep. Everybody's going to work today, and they have a battle in their own way, in their own right. And how are you going to fight that battle today, man? I know how I'm going to fight my battle today, and I'll share it with you. I'm going to outwork my competition.
Yep.
Because guess what? There's 24 hours in a day. I highly doubt my competition is willing to put in 18. I highly doubt he's willing to put in 20. I will.
Yep.
And if he's putting in 22, I'm putting in 23. I'm going to win because that's my objective. You guys, if you want to win, it's very simple. Outwork people. And the way you outwork them is find out what they're not doing, and you do what they're not willing to do. Okay? So today's Monday, and we're going to do what everyone's not willing to do, and we're going to win, baby.
We're winning.
Win, Cory,
hey,
are we going to win?
I got one parting shot. I need you to give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. I need you to comment if you have some more questions below the video. Tell all your friends about the podcast, the YouTube. Subscribe. This is Activ8 Media. You're watching Activ8 and listening to Activ8 Radio.
Ultimate Warrior
are out. And I'll see you on Friday, Johnny.
Boom!